Now, as per our typical production,
because we are like awesome at that.
We are adults.
We are. Okay, we say we are. We're really not. We're more like 3 trash pandas in a really bad suit. Mm-hmm. Today we're going to teach you a layering effect that helps you create patina and rust. Rust is when a ferrous object, anything magnetic, anything with iron, is oxidized. And that red stuff you see on metal is rust. Or Fe3O, however many oxygen molecules.
I don't know. Basically, when metal meets literally air.
Well, that's where Fe3O, that's what rust is. That's its composition. Yeah. But that O has a number, and it's depending on how many oxygen molecules are creating that kind of rust. Like there's Fe3O4, which is 4 oxygen molecules per ferrous or iron molecule. And then we're going to show you a way to create patina. If you ever see metal that's been buried underground,
like a really old-ass coin,
you'll see it kind of has what looks like a black layer to it, and you kind of have to scrape it away. That patina is actually a really dark blue. Patina really doesn't change the usability of a metal unless it's like a machined part, something that has to move, where rust absolutely affects the material as a whole. So this is a great layering effect for creating both rust and patina on weapons or metal girders, things like that. There's a lot of ways to do rust, and a lot of the ways that I've noticed artists are doing rust is it's almost like destructive rust. It's not like that light layer of rust where you're trying to keep this thing nice and neat, and you're trying to keep this weapon or this sword usable, but the environment around you just isn't, a viable environment for metal. And there is different types of rust. There's surface rust, which starts pitting, which works its way into the metal. And then you have destructive rust, where it's actually, compromising the whole piece. Where you look at it, sneeze wrong, and it breaks. That's catastrophic destruction with rust. So we're going to be teaching you to do this kind of rust that you see on the swords. I'm going to do this because that's apparently how we do this now.
It's still been doing it for the whole year and a half that we've been shooting.
You would think we would have learned, but we're two dads who just. But you see, it's got rust, but it's not catastrophically destructive rust. And then patining, same thing. You see the patina, but you also see that it's still functional as a tool or a weapon. We're going to be doing it on these that Chris was at the save point was kind enough to print out for us. It's basically the Raven medallion for the Witcher series.
Ooh.
So the first thing I do is I pick my my metal, and I pick my metal based off of how bright I want it. Like typically you want darker metals, especially if there's rust or patina, because darker metals allow for that transition of color.
Makes it pop a little bit better.
I'm going to be using Iron Breaker from Citadel.
And I just brought my technicals because I misread what you said.
So you're probably going to be using Iron Breaker as well.
Double dipping in that as well, yes.
Okay, so 2 Iron Breakers. Good stuff. Funny thing is amazingly enough, is like you hear like the Dark Ages, how well they kept their weapons and all that, and we find all these swords and Viking swords, and I'm sitting there going, I was trying to figure out like how many people have died from tetanus. From
archaeology?
No. I mean, in like the Dark Ages, stuff like that, with like poorly kept tools. And
you
weapons.
only find the nice ones. I mean, God knows how many millions.
Well, I mean,
more
seriously, how many people like bucked the kick it because of tetanus? Like,
yeah.
Like, you don't want that. Like, I'm sorry. It's like I step on a rusty nail, and the first thing my wife wants to do is take me to get a tetanus
like, tis
booster.
but a scratch. Yeah, that's why you gonna die.
Yeah. Well, back in the Dark Ages, that was how that worked.
Quick, rub some poopy mud in it.
Just go out to the pigsty, boy. It's fine.
Back to work, peasant.
Just rub some tussin on it. Let's see. I am going to just use a wide flat brush. I have a wide flat brush that I'm going to be just get it wet so it's flexible. So how's the week gone for you?
Pretty good.
Anything going on with the aminals that, you know?
Well, unfortunately, we did have to put down one of our giraffes.
See, that sucks.
Yeah, he was 20, mean life expectancy in human care is like 15. So he had a good long run.
You make it sound like he was like a betting giraffe. Like, you know, like he spun a roulette wheel and things just went sideways.
I mean, he had issues that could not be recovered from.
Like, if he was out in nature, would he have died sooner?
Oh God, yes.
Okay, so was he suffering at all?
At the end, he started to, so that was kind of the last little jelly bean.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, was he suffering while you guys were keeping him alive?
No.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's fine as long as he's not like super suffering, like he's walking around in pain, or you know, like one of his vertebrae like was exposed out of the skin.
No, nothing like that. He had a...
Well, the only reason I say this, you know my view on zoos. Like, I don't mind them as an educational platform. Like, I've told you this before. I don't mind them as an educational platform, but I'm a firm believer that, you know, we shouldn't be hunting these animals to begin with.
Well, we're not.
I know you're not. I know you're not. I'm saying that, you know, like, the countries where these animals are located should have protections.
Yeah.
You know, and, like, the last time I went to a zoo, it's like, be wary of free-flying birds. And I'm sitting there going, how can these birds be free-flying if they're in a locked room? Yeah, it just
well, that's
weirds
just
me
the
out.
terminology used.
But
like,
I mean,
free flying as in they have full use and range of their wings and can fly under their own power. So watch your damn head.
Right. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying zoos are bad. I'm just saying that I like zoos as an educational system.
Yeah.
I fully applaud zoos as an educational platform. It's just like when you get those rare animals or you get those zoos who try to like mix animals.
Oh, fuck them.
It's like
that is like one of
like
a lot of zookeepers' biggest pet peeves is like liger breeders and stuff like that. Like, why?
Yeah. Now you're seeing where we stand on things. But no, so that you had to put that. Yeah, you did tell me about the giraffe and the. But the thing is, on the upside, 2 weeks before that, Maine wolf pups.
Yes, 4 Maine wolf pups.
They're adorable as hell.
Born first time ever at Audubon Zoo.
Adorable, just absolutely adorable. Okay, and now a lot of people don't know this. Like, you can get these cool little tubes for like dice, and sometimes you need like a drop of water. So what I did is I drilled a little hole in the top of this, filled it with water, so then I can just turn it upside down and literally get a drop of water out of this.
Nice.
So I wanted to show that off because I was impressed with myself for absolutely no reason.
Like, I did a thing.
Well, I mean, it was a stupid thing. Like.
But it works.
Yeah.
If it's stupid, if it works, it ain't stupid.
That's not how that adage goes.
It's not stupid if it works.
That's also not how that adage goes. I love you to death, man, but we got to work on your adages. Actually, if it's
what is the term? What is the phrase?
The adage is, if it's stupid and it works, it ain't stupid.
But yeah, potato.
As Chris is about ready to just murder me. Let's see. We need a mixing dish.
You start speaking in Latin, I'll be a little bit more concerned.
God, I haven't had to do that. Well, since college when I took mammalogy.
E pluribus unum.
Out of many one.
There's one that I actually stumbled upon that I actually really like. yeah, is yeah, here, yeah, Buddhist.
Your heart is shaped like a pear and you're gonna die? What?
Let justice be
Romans
done.
go home?
If you can't hear it,
Will shall perish.
the owner of the Save Point, Chris, is here today. He's over there with his boyfriend Lane, just painting, doing stuff. And so you're probably going to hear some weird interjection from from the outside, and that's perfectly okay because this is his store and he's blessed us with the ability to use it. Okay, mine is semi-dry enough. And the reason you see me using a paint cap and I put that on another cap is stabilization for this kind of stuff is absolutely pretty important. So what I did is I took some sticky tack and I put it on top of a spray paint lid, and it keeps it from falling. And I can get a little aggressive with it with the brush and just kind of like get stuff where I want it to be without having to hold it in my hands, get my hands all, because episodes before you would see us just getting our hands covered in paint because we're sitting there going, ha 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 ha.
Apparently we've invented the handle.
See, it's like the evolution of the wheel. We're cavemen and we're slowly evolving our tools.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I am vaping on camera because I'm still exhausted from every day, and I am not here.
I understand.
But he was gracious enough to get me coffee today, which I appreciate. Thank you.
No problem.
So the next step, what I do is I make a watered down red brown. So I'm going to be using Mornfang Brown and Evil Sun Scarlet from Citadel. And I just got to find a way to mix it real quick because mixing is important. I am not going to be using water. I'm going to be using Lamaine Medium. And it's going to be kind of glossy, so I'm going to use a gloss medium. I could use my matte medium, but I choose not to for whatever reason. And I'm only going to be doing half, so I'm actually going to cut this kind of in half, so
Okay.
rust, patina.
Okay.
And then I've lost my ability to mix paints, apparently, so yeah. I have a way. I know I have a way. There has to be something. Like, I can't be so stupid as to not. I scratch that. I probably can.
Live filming, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, because and typical for us, we are not prepared for anything.
Nope. 11:30 a.m. Hey, what do you want to talk about? Should I bring paints?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. Bring paints. Didn't actually just.
Oh yeah,
what we wanted to paint.
No idea whatsoever. We
And I just brought all these other paints.
Yeah.
Tell you what, I'm done.
Actually,
with mine.
I'm gonna bust this out.
Hey, look at that. We totally came prepared.
Well,
By we, I mean you, who has his setup here at all times.
I do it for you, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Do it for you. Gotta move the mouse, otherwise things are gonna get weird.
Oh, that's what's going to make it weird.
Yeah, that's exactly what's gonna make it weird. So what I do is I prep a dry brush of kind of a wet red brown,
Okay.
because you don't want it
Like
getting
a red, like brownstone red brick kind of deal?
yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna see the effect kind of. You're gonna see the red kind of die out with the mix. So there's my red right there. That's literally it. Like it is a small ass amount of red in there. Like that is tiny comparatively to how we usually do things. Take you out of the camera altogether because that's nice. And then I add a little bit of Mornfang Brown. You could use Rhinox Hide, but Rhinox Hide is already a red brown and it's already really, really, really dark. And you don't want it super dark, but you do want it dark enough to, make the coverage. I know I'm talking in riddles. This is a practice thing.
Anybody who's ever watched this before understands what we're poorly explaining, or understands the process.
Or they don't, they just nod their head. I know my wife does that. So now that I have my dry brush ready on my brush, I am legit just going to sit there and, just kind of glaze over my metal real quick.
Okay.
And you get that kind of color. It's already, it looks almost like destructive rust, but it's not destructive rust. You want to use this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm dry brushing, but okay. I love how he's dry brushing with this thin little brush, like a round brush. And I'm using this edge brush. It's a base brush. It is. It's used for bases, but I use it for dry brushing because it's got that angle and it lets me kind of hold. Now, what I'm doing is I'm actually going over this again, but a little heavier, so that way the raised up edges actually get a little more on there, and it's a little less geometric. Yes, I've got even coverage, but some spots are darker, some spots are lighter, and it gives that inconsistency in nature where, like, if you watch rust on a piece of metal, it doesn't just start, like, you could have destructive rust in this spot where it's actually eating away, and then over on another piece of the same bit, it's just like a little bit of pitting, and you flip it over, and something protected it from the elements, and it's, a little bit of light rust on the, like, surface rust that, yeah, it's weird. And I get if you guys are going, well, that's just kind of dumb. Because you're right, but at the same time, there's a method to the madness. Wow, you were just getting really heavy with it.
Mm-hmm.
You want to use this brush and just kind of smear that around, because that's a little too much.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Because you're killing the metal effect. And you can actually take that and just draw it around a little bit. There you go, thinning it out. That's good. That's good. Because,
Yeah, damn, yeah. I'm manly enough to admit when I need some guidance.
Guidance.
I don't always take it at the first offer, but now it totally looks like I knew what the hell I was doing.
Yeah. Now you're getting the effect. We should have shown the before and after on that.
Yeah, we really should have, because this looks...
He was painting it in. There was no dry brushing involved.
It worked out really well.
Yeah.
It's not the journey, it's the destination.
You keep telling yourself that, Bubba.
And it's certainly not the friends you made along the way.
Well, I mean, that was mean and wholly uncalled for. Thanks.
Oh, you were already my friend.
Now, the weird part is I keep looking for my Agrex Earthshade and I can never find it. Like, I swear to God I bury this stuff on purpose. Solely so I have a reason to complain. Don't mind the clang, clang, clang. Is this? Ha! Found it. Woohoo!
Nice.
I was getting
Good go though, Chris. Like, Chris was up on it. He was like, I got Agrex Earthshade. Like, although half the time I think like he sees the Agrex Earthshade on my table and he takes it.
I figured he wanted his time.
not this time around now.
Yeah, see, not this time around. Which means he's done it before. All right, so
Yeah, at least
with this stuff still lightly tacky, like you put your finger on it, you pull it up, and you can feel the sticky. What I do is I get a round brush, looks like that, and I do a weird mix. You're gonna love this. This is where that layering that we're talking about, because we have our metal layer, we have our dry brush rust layer. Now we're gonna deepen that red a little bit.
Okay.
We're gonna use Reichland Fleshshade Gloss,
Okay.
which is a red tone.
Really good for making details on faces.
It's also really good for making gold look antique.
Yes.
And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna just whip brush it. Just literally, you're going like this.
So literally what I did at first.
And that's gonna like brighten up the red in the rust. And then while... Oh, shit. I made a mistake. I just wasted some Reckon Flesh Shade. Because I'm brilliant. And what this Flesh Shade gloss is going to do is actually going to sit in a lot of those recesses kind of and really brighten up the red. So it's going to do that. Like, this is something you could, like, you found it in a field and it's kind of a little bit in the dirt. So the next stage is to kind of let this dry a little bit. And you could even go so far as to take a dry paintbrush and kind of pull away some of it. So that way you still have a lot of those darkened pieces. So yeah, it's still dark in some of those recesses, but it's not like super brilliant. And once that layer dries, then you add your earth shade. And the funny thing is you needed this red shade to do both parts, because now I'm going to have to be like super careful with the rust and between the rust and the patina because I have to cut this in half. So your earth shade is going to come on next, but you want this to be kind of dried up a little bit because you actually need that color to kind of sit, not kind of mix.
Okay.
The downside to shades is if you try to layer them too early, they kind of mix together and it makes a muddy color that just no bueno. Time to cheat. Because cheating.
It's only cheating if you get caught. Otherwise, it's the Belichick method.
Oh, you're a teacher now?
No, it's like it's online student lesson thing.
No one on the camera can hear you.
Oh, he said, what? Okay. Okay.
For those playing along at home, we are messing with other people in the shop today.
That should be dry-ish enough.
Yep.
Alright, so now we're going to use the Agrax Earth Shade for the rust effect, and then we're going to be using a shade called Drakenhof Nightshade for the patina effect. So, Agrax, voila. And then bring that in. And get it on pretty heavy because that rust shade isn't always super... That Agrax Earth Shade doesn't always go on evenly on one piece. So it's... You kind of have to be a little heavy-handed with it. Which is what I'm doing. And I'm trying to keep... And the worst part is this is a shade, so I'm trying to, like, keep it in a half, which something this fluid, and that's what it turns to. Like you see how everything's darkened up, and then we're gonna go against all conventional wisdom,
as per our want,
in adding the next layer, because once this is dry, you're actually going to go after it with the Rhinox hide.
Okay.
Just a dry brushing of the Rhinox hide. You're going to let that dry. And then we're going to hit it with some... you can either use Rhinox hide or you can use Nulene oil.
Okay.
Either way, you're taking this earth shade, then you're going to darken it up, and then you're going to do a final little pass with some mixes. For patining, you can usually use blues, because you just those layers of blue from a light blue into the dark blue with a dark blue Drakenhof Nightshade also works. So let's see.
And so you're using the Drakenhof For the patina?
Yep.
I think I might constrict that to just the crest itself. Leave the raven head.
I mean, that's fair. It's your little dude. You do what you want with it.
Hello.
So there you have your 50-50 patina rust starter. God, I rinse my brush off like I'm trying to purposely get water everywhere, which isn't the plan. So yeah, so keep in mind the reason we're doing this little layer effect is so when you put like rust and patina on things, because there's people out there who do the destructive rust really, really well. This is giving you more of the I can still use the object. It's no longer it's the rust isn't a problem. It's just an effect, really.
Mm. If anything, your weapon's more effective because if the stabby doesn't kill him,
The tetanus will.
yep.
Oh, you're gonna need way more Dragon
no,
Nightshade
I
than
know.
that. Like, just load your brush up and just let it fall into place. I love how he eats his donut. He says, "Oh,
I'm just glad he's not shoving the whole thing in his mouth.
well, I mean, I'm gonna cheat again because, you know." So we're gonna make a lot of noise to fill the void of,
The
no
awkward
sound.
silence.
Well, no, I heard yelling outside. I'm trying to
Oh.
figure out if that was Tommy or Chad.
Oh, Tommy.
Stands to reason. But so yeah, the cool part about patina and rust though is it does add some, like patina. For me, patina adds character to things. So I mean, you don't want it on like a knife or a sword or a gun or anything like that. But if you have something that's patinaed and you can polish it up, that blue really comes through. It's kind of nice. It really is.
Yeah, if you've got like a sculpted base for a mini, like just for example, like they're based on a coin or whatever, like a Mardi Gras doubloon, and you want to paint that up, that would make it look pretty awesome.
So now what I do with the Drakenhof Nightshade 50-50 wet dry, take some Newland oil gloss, and I don't go like super hog wild like you would with Newland oil gloss. I just kind of go enough to darken everything, and I let that Drakenhof Nightshade kind of come through. That's why I leave it kind of 50-50 wet dry.
Okay.
And that's your final result for patina. It's a blue-black. It's going to be really, really shiny. And it would be like you took this out of the ground and kind of polished off the patina and got it shiny. So that's how that's going to look. I'm trying to tilt this into the light so you can see it all glistening. Now we go back to the rust side, where the Agrax Earthshade's been given enough time to dry. And I'm gonna take a little bit of Ronnox hide, just enough to get the brush to be kind of tipped, I guess. Like I'm using very little, and I'm still gonna be taking most of that off. And I'm gonna do a light dry brush over all the coppery looking stuff. And there you go, you have a darker rusted metal.
Nice.
And then the final layer is going to be a gentle coat of Nullian oil gloss. So what do you think of this effect so far?
I like it.
Ever seen this effect done this way?
Not to this effect by my hand.
Rust and patina made easy-ish. Because, let's see, we've been recording for 30 minutes now. 30 minutes we've actually done a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
so much easier than the natural way of just
letting
burying
it rust. Actually,
The
there's
thing
a
about plastic, though, is that it's not just gonna do it.
funny thing about making rust happen sooner. You just like literally put it in salt water.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That'll do it.
You'll get corrosion and rust like that.
Better yet, put it on top of a saltwater aquarium, let the bubbles do their thing.
Right? All right. So the final step for the one of the final steps is that.
Borrow your chip brush. Oh, thank you, sir.
Yep.
I use the effective method this time.
The last two steps is the Nullian oil, which is like really light. I even want people to kind of like take away Nullian oil, because you're kind of like trying to dry brush with Nullian oil gloss, which adds that.
Nice.
So notice it's darkening up, which is kind of what we want, because with it dark like this, we can how to make it look like it's still usable and still viable as a piece. Is you still need to give it a little bit of metal glint, like there's still metal in there that can be salvaged, or if you did the work, you could polish it away. So what we're going to do is we're going to be adding a light dry brushing of Necron compound. A Necron compound is a dry brush paint specifically designed to be a dry brush.
Mm-hmm.
You could use any other metal you prefer, but Necron compound just kind of goes on in a hazy way.
Yeah. Whoops.
And that hazy,
Good save.
that hazy metallic is kind of what you want, because it reinforces the effect that there's metal there, even though there's a lot of color under it.
Mm-hmm.
I like how the stark contrast difference between yours and mine. And what's really funny is if you actually, because we're using a lot of glosses and there's a metal undercoat to this, when you tilt, if you tilt it, you should still see your metallic undercoat kind of underneath it.
It's kind of a pearlescent kind of look to it.
So like, if I go like this, you can still see the metal kind of rolling underneath it. It's still shiny.
Yep.
And you've got that. And the one thing is, I'm actually using the living layer method that we talked about in one of our first episodes, like doing living things. You got to have that glossy living layer, that shiny layer. Like, you see the shine right here in my forehead, because we're not like super like $1 million production here. So you can see the light actually coming down and right in here, right? And that's a living layer. I'm a real breathing boy, because you see the folds in my forehead. You see like these creases. You also see the light, and you see like when I talk, my eyebrows move, my nose moves, my mouth moves obviously, but you can't see my chin really moving because beard. So living layers are really important, and they work just as well for objects to give them a sense of realism, as well as when you're painting, hominid creatures or dragons and stuff like that. Nid. Like, perfect example is like this little orc guy. Yeah, he's not a traditional skin tone color that we would see, but he's got all the creases, he's got the shiny, So he has a living layer. He's got a more believable, real look to him, even though his skin tone isn't traditional. All right, now that that's dry, I'm going to start my Necron compound, which needs a good violent shaking.
Can I borrow your cheat gun, please?
Yeah. Eins cheat gun. See, cheat gun. And now, I don't, the trick, and now here's the real trick, and you're going to hate this and love this at the same time, is not to go overboard with your Necron compound. Otherwise, everything's just going to look gray. So, again, with the dry brush method of just basically wasting really good paint. This poor Owen, almost falls off your lap. You don't want to go super heavy. You don't want to go super crazy. But you do want, you want the gentle touches of the metal to show through. So one of the things that you don't see me doing is I'll brush in, and then I'll use my finger to kind of wipe away excess, so that way it smears into there, but you get that usable metal layer. And that's like my trick to all of this is creating. I'm gonna let Chris do his, and then we'll show you, and it'll help give you an idea of why we do what we do and why I did it this way as differently from the other methods as possible, because I still want this to be a thing. I still want this to. When you do this with these objects, you're saying this is still usable. This is still a viable thing. It may not look like the brand new version of the thing, but it's still usable.
That wasn't nearly dry enough.
We have small children, sir. Do not set me up for those jokes.
Y'all are dirty. All y'all's dirty.
If you know, you know.
We're laughing at it. Unrelated matter, but this is still
So what do you think of this method?
I like it.
No. Bad.
What do you think of this method, Chris?
When I have my glasses on and I'm
Well,
close.
No, it looks way better without them.
Yeah, it looks even better
It's one of
without.
those situations where I should be over here squinting.
Yeah.
I can't even see it.
Perfect.
No, it came out really good.
I like how he looks at it for a second. Oh yeah, it's really good. He's never going to use the method.
Nope.
It's really funny. It's like he doesn't even watch the episodes. Like he'll literally sit there and go, "Oh, good job."
I'm just gonna close the doors and assume it all went to plan.
What was that?
I'll watch snippets of it.
But he never actually looks at what we do. It's so funny because will like Chris and I will sit there and talk about paint jobs, and I'll look at his stuff for like a good solid 2-3 minutes, look at every little nook and cranny, and be like, "Oh yeah, that's pretty badass. I like that. You did a really good job." And then he'll look at mine for like a split second, and go, "Oh yeah, that's cool," and he'll just walk away. It's like, thanks, bud. Make me feel totally useless. Like the only human being who makes me feel bad about my artwork is Chris. All right, you ready to show off?
Almost.
I like yours. Yours has that really strong Ferris look.
Yeah.
Poor Owen's like, "What are you doing?" Man. I think Owen's gonna be the only kid in his school that's gonna have like early '90s, late '90s references to cartoons.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. So here's my effect. Still dark, still rusty, still looks metallic. Still strong, still vibrant and viable.
And here's mine.
And very gothic, that very irony, and I love it. But you still get that patina effect.
Yep.
You still have that. I think you went a little heavy on the Necron compound.
Oh, that's because I wiped it off.
You didn't wipe off all of it. It's still there. But like, I love the fact that like this is like one of those tarnished. No, leave it because that's one of those like tarnished looks.
Yeah, like
that people go for.
a worry stone kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yep, totally planned. Yep, planned out that way exactly.
Like you know those brooches that you see that
Yeah,
really bronze, like a patinaed bronze. That's how that looks, and
Yeah.
I like that. It's that is something you could see in a cosplay. Like if we were to do this for like a cosplay for The Witcher, like whatever group this is for, I don't even know. I'm not even gonna pretend to, but I could see this as being like an older version of this, like the Witcher coin. Like this is gorgeous.
Thank you.
And I'm proud to have had this happen on the show because that is just amazing.
Me too, apparently.
Mine is just like a show off of this is
Okay,
what it
you
does.
were showing the techniques, and I combined the techniques.
And it
I've
looks
got
great.
your dark blue patina around the edges, but on the inside, I went with like just like that would be where you would hold it to put it on, take it off.
So basically, your finger putting it
your
on,
finger
rubbing away, and
rubbing
cleaning
away,
it.
and relatively cleaning it off. Yeah.
So there you go. You have patina, viable patina, usable patina, usable rust, where the object isn't absolutely destroyed and useless.
And we didn't use a single technical paint.
Nope. Not a
Despite
one.
me bringing all of my technical paints.
Proof that you don't need them
you don't
to do the
need
job. So
They can provide a cool, when used properly and not overdone, they can provide a cool little effect, but they're super easy to overdo when you're doing a large piece like this.
mostly because people don't know when to stop. It's literally learn to tell yourself
Yeah.
to stop. And
Oh yeah, I learned that the hard way.
So, thank you to our wives.
Thanks, your wives. Happy belated Mother's Day.
Yes, to all.
We wish them on the day.
I did actually.
We did.
I
things.
spoiled mine.
Oh yeah,
I spoiled the hell out of mine.
same here.
Like she's got like 5 years worth of body glitter right now. Like I'm not joking. She's gonna have body glitter for the rest of her life. It's
Mine's got a 5 foot by 5 foot Disney pin board with like the map of the entire property, so we can like put it in.
oh wow, that's dope.
Yeah.
That is dope. That is dope. Mine is simpler. She likes to make body glitters and stuff like
nice.
that to be cutesy, and so I got her all the stuff, and I paid for her renewal for her esthetician's license.
Awesome.
Yes, that's what husbands do. Is we know the important stuff. We try to mash that in with the even more important stuff.
Yes.
Super special thanks to Chris and Sarah of the Save Point. This whole place is theirs. Lots of gaming going on. Lots of fun to be had. And if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have a place to be two dads who have to rush painting because life happens and have to learn all these techniques to share with you.
Yes.
And their use of internet and technology is awesome. Troll Tooth Productions for
Always
everything they
thank
do
you.
for the kids. If you ever need anything for kids, those are the two to go. Jennifer and Justin are amazing. They're also Arantar Troll. Definitely give them a shout out because they're just amazing, amazing people.
Yeah.
Special thanks to you guys at home. I mean, you don't have to watch our videos, and most of you don't, but
But to the ones watching you that do, that see
You're
this
awesome.
message, thank you. You're great.
yeah, if you stayed till the end,
Tell us what you want in the next show. Give
Yeah.
us ideas so we know what to do ahead of time.
and a special thanks to you, bro. 1 year of doing this, and
man.
it's been a long, strange road, but it
Oh,
was
it's been
worth
over
it.
a year because
Yeah,
this is the
Season 2.
Well, no, even longer because it was not our first couple episodes that we did the Star Wars episode last year
oh yeah,
for May the 4th, where
Yeah.
we didn't even paint. We just talked about nerding
yeah,
out.
that was like no painting happened.
Yeah.
So
Much like some of our other shows recently.
right. No, I mean we can't always paint.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to, get a little metaphysical. Sometimes we have to get just like, hey, here's some really cool stuff. Here's an idea, And we're still kind of in the talks of going over the day-to-day processes of doing a diorama. So once we actually nail down a plan, I'm pretty sure that's gonna be the next thing. So from the paint nerds and two nerd dads, thank you. Have a great day and keep painting.
Happy Tuesday.